Blessings, 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 everybody out there in the universe. My name is Sean Myrie, and my brother Rastafari Samurai. We're the host of the Down to Earth podcast. Today, we got a special guest on with us right now. We got
Hey,
Jay Morris. Introduce yourself, brother, to the people.
ev- everything is blessed, man. Jay Morris, aka your favorite light skin, and I'm glad to be here holding it down with y'all, man. Y'all have been killing it, so thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
man.
Man, you've been
Yo,
killing it. You've been killing it, my brother.
Nah,
Holy.
what they say, real recognize real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
man. Yo,
uh,
tell the people what you've been doing for for these past years. I've been seeing the hip hop food drive like for years, but I did not know it was you. Like honestly.
yeah. Like obviously with the hip hop food drive, we're in our eighth year now, and it's just continuing to sort of have the snowball effect of growing, and now we're doing 8 cities this year, which I can't even believe, sometimes that it's even happening, but we're here. You know what I mean? Like we just landed in Vancouver. Myself, Daniel, Hart, who are all part of the tour, and yeah, man, just ready to rock it. Like we're doing interviews like crazy. The hype is real. It's good, man. It's good vibes.
So yo, with this experience with all the artists, how is it right now? Like building up because I see you like going everywhere. You have like a list of cities. It's like excitement, but the good thing about it, you're giving back to the people. Like you're giving back. Not too much
Yeah,
people do that nowadays.
yeah, and I think it's important, especially when you have these platforms. Like you have a platform. Bring your A game. When I was doing the radio show, it was like it's just taking the opportunities to give back and not just take. You know what I mean? I think this it's important to really have that kind of energy in this world, and I'm a firm believer of it, and that's why we're going into the eighth year of the hip hop food drive.
So what's the feedback you've been getting from like the people over the years for doing this?
Yeah, I think it's like what I really like is at the actual event, seeing the artists come out and bring the non-perishable food items. It's almost like an opportunity for certain artists to like stunt, you know what I mean, and like come out with the biggest bags of food, you know what I mean. So when I see that kind of stuff happening, I really know that it's making an impact. And I think just in general, like people like Maestro Fresh West, Shaw Claire, Lex Leosis, DJ Mel Boogie, like the list goes on, have all been supportive to at least acknowledge what the hip hop food drive is doing. Or to lend their voice and shout it out. You know what I mean? So I think it's with the right people, it means the right thing. So that's what it is. I think.
So what gave you the inspiration to want to do this? Like really give back to the people? What inspired you to do this?
Yeah, man. I know I only look 22, but when I was 16 years old, you know what I mean, which is a long time ago, I used to live on my own at the age of 16,
Mm,
and in order to, I obviously was going to school still. I was working, but you just
hard.
couldn't make ends meet at that age, like, and especially back then, like it was
Mm,
like $10 minimum wage. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a lot
mm,
to live off of, and so going to food banks made sense for me to get my food, and I would go week, sometimes even 2 or 3 in one week, just to be able to get the right stuff.
mm,
So for me, it was that, like at the age of 16, having to go to that and
mm.
doing that for a few years. I didn't have to do it forever, but I did it for a few years, and I have lots of friends who still to this day like will be like, yo, I love what you're doing because me and my family had to go last month. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so for me, it's always been close to the heart because I had to go through it, and I think with the opportunity to be able to use my platform as we're talking about, right, with the music, and put
Integrating.
those two worlds together, exactly, integrate those two things together, just makes the most sense, and it really fuses well. And aside from being able to get back, it allows me to be
Mm.
able to get out and promote the brand too, right? Like it's not just one of those things where it's just give back and nothing really is coming from it. Like again, it's not always taking, it's giving, and then you receive it back too. So the love that we get for bringing a game, the love that I receive from people messaging me, telling me thank you for doing this, all means the most at the end of the day. So
So like I know that you're an artist. When did you start like your journey being an artist?
yeah, probably about the same age, 16. 16 is when I started making music, and I've been in the game for like 22 years now. you know, and
Mhm.
it's one of those things where, you know, as an independent artist, I've been able to make the right moves, and just be consistent with it, you know, because at the end of the day, like some people do this for 2, 3 years and then they give up, you know, and I'm still here, still doing it 22 years later, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's just the beginning for me, you know?
But I have to be honest. When I seen you, like you look familiar. Like I swear I seen you in some type of article, but it wasn't Canadian. I don't know if it was Canadian or American. Have you traveled before?
Yeah, I definitely like I've done some traveling, nothing really to the States to perform, but overseas, definitely.
Mm.
You know, I was in Toronto, like we've definitely like seen each other in person before. I was in Toronto for a good like 2009 to 2019.
I know I
Hmm.
have. I know I have because
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been to one or two of your food drives in the past.
Okay, bless. That's blessed. And I was on CIUT 89.5 for a while, with the radio show with DJ Slam. Uh,
Ah, okay.
and we had Bring Your A Game Radio on there. And you know, I moved back to Ottawa in 2019. And in Ottawa, you know, I lucked out with moving. It's weird how it works, you know. Like I moved to Toronto in '09 to get away from Ottawa to sort of open up the horizon, or like the possibilities, you know, moving to Toronto.
Hmm.
But then when I moved back to Ottawa, things actually got better for me. And so, you know, in Ottawa now, I'm part of Cranium Arts Project, which is a nonprofit organization in Ottawa. We our flagship programming is a hip hop and R&B festival that we do every year. It's going into its
Hmm.
year, and you know, just all these different opportunities have come about, and the growth of the Hip Hop Food Drive happened because of the move to Ottawa too, right? Like initially I was doing it in Toronto, and then now, you know, went to Ottawa, and then it was like boom, 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 city after city.
That's what's different about you. And see, I just sensed something. I said this brother is just a little bit different than the average Toronto cat, right? Because what you're from Ottawa originally.
Yeah, originally from Ottawa. Yeah,
See, and I noticed like people who are from up there, they promote them. You know, you got to promote yourself as much as you can because you know Toronto. Everybody
But
else
that's the
looks
thing.
to Toronto,
I knew
but
him I knew him as an artist before.
that's what I'm saying. But he was promote. Where I'm getting at, they promote themselves to a certain level where I thought you were like from America.
okay, okay, okay. Well, I mean, you know what? Like for me, I don't know what kind of give you that impression, but for
Because
like
it's probably the push, the way how
the push.
the push. Because uh, Rock, you already know
Not only
this.
that, it's how he recognizes the culture, man.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
on
it
the
is.
real, like
Yeah,
look, he's wearing hip hop. He is hip hop. You get what I'm saying? Like
yeah. And
it's
for a while that disappeared from Toronto in the last 20
you know what I
years.
mean?
We've been going on another identity. I'll get to that later on.
Right, right,
But
right.
you know what I mean? So
No, and you know what? That's important for me. Like with bringing A Game, the whole reason I even did that was to push the Canadian, you know, hip hop music in Canada. You know what I mean? Like
mm,
I felt like at the time that I started bringing A Game, there wasn't any other shows that were specifically dedicated to just
mm,
Canadian hip hop, R&B, reggae,
mm,
and you know, I did that and made a point to push that to everybody. Like, you know, bring your A game is not the letter A, it's EH. You know, like
yeah,
it's a Canadian thing, and
yeah,
it just made sense to do because nobody else is doing it. Now there's like so many shows, you
yeah.
know, that are happening that just push Canadian content, but. Bring Your A Game was definitely like one of the first for sure, and I believe in the music here. You know, like people ask me sometimes, like, who are some of your favorite artists, and I don't even think I listen to American artists. You know, for a
Yeah.
majority, like I listen to
Really?
mostly Canadian shit. You know.
When did that? Okay, I'm gonna ask you that question now that you're saying that. Have you
All right.
like from the beginning? You always just, but you listen to American
No,
stuff
no,
too.
no. When I was growing up, like before I started bringing A Game, I was, you know,
Yeah.
I wasn't just focused on Canadian content. But the first album I ever bought was DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
Okay.
that was I was like 14 years old, you know, buying that and
Mm,
listening to that album back to back. And I think, you know, DMX as an artist, like, you know, has inspired me as an artist at the end of the day. But
mm,
when it comes to Canadian content, I feel like because we always got that like overlook at one point, you know what I mean, where there wasn't really any,
mm,
like the eyes weren't really on Canadian music the way it is now. I
mm.
felt it was important to do what I was doing back then. You know what I mean? And now I think we're in a great place where artists like, you know, Drake and
Mm.
we could go on Tory Lanez, right? Like how many artists are successful from Canada now is different than 10 years ago. You know?
But you know what? I'll tell you honestly, around the same time, I would say I always listen to like American hip hop or even Toronto hip hop. But when Toronto hip hop, like when Choclair and Cardinal Official and even Maestro, those times that made you proud to be like
Right,
Canadian hip hop
right.
ghetto concept. But I feel in when it became like the 2000s, like somewhere in the 2005, it lost me after Cardi got his deal with Akon.
Akon,
After
yeah.
Akon and kind of Drake was coming in, I'm seeing okay, we're taking off with these fellas. But after
Mm,
that, the local hip hop, I feel the quality started to go down because of social media and these
right,
digital platforms. You can't sell CDs anymore. Once that
right.
disappeared, the quality changed. But yeah, I see
Yeah.
what I mean. Still
I'm
support.
from that era too with the CD hustle. You know what I mean? Like I can remember, the first time I ever met. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Dio Gibson, but the first time I ever met Dio Gibson was in Ottawa, and the first time I ever met him. I told him, "Listen, yo, I just sold 1,000 CDs on Canada Day." You know what I
Mm,
mean? And like that was the hustle back then, was to sell
Yeah.
hand CDs, and DVDs. Like I came up in that era of like film, we had DVDs in Ottawa where all the artists, from the scene, on those DVDs. But yeah, back then that CD era was different. Back then, you could do that hand to hand and chop, 100 CDs and make some good money if you're doing it yourself.
but since you have the ear to the street, do you feel the quality of music coming out? I'm not gonna okay, we know Drake, Tory Lanez, all the stars, but the quality of the music coming out now, like how we had that extended mix with Master T every weekend, he had new artists from the
Right,
underground, what you call it. Is it the
right.
same? Is it the same? We know it's
Yeah,
not going to be the same, but I mean, like
I tell you,
energy.
I see it everywhere. Like that energy still. Yeah, I was just in at Nova Scotia Music Week conference a couple of weeks ago,
Mm,
and I had an opportunity to really just take in like a lot of the Halifax artists, out east, and they really like different cities. I see the energy and the vibes, but like for instance, Halifax has this like budding scene that just nobody really knows about yet, and the amount of talent that is there is like that's where some of the artists are making that kind of music. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
That feel good music that almost has that back in the day kind of feel, because music isn't as touching nowadays. Like sometimes it's just that cheesy paper copy and paste kind of vibe, right?
But
Does
see, you're saying Halifax, respect to Halifax. When we're talking about hip hop, I feel especially in Canada, we talk about Toronto too much. I feel
right,
we don't
right,
talk
right.
about Halifax,
It's
we don't talk about
everywhere.
Montreal, we don't talk about Vancouver, all the cities you're going. We don't even focus on them. Like love Toronto, but it's
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah.
Ottawa.
And 100%. And I think it takes things like this happening to help spread awareness about the artists outside of their own city. Like by me doing this tour and going to each city and connecting with these artists that are on the tour, it's also amplifying their names outside of it. Like the Ottawa artists that I'm connecting with now know
Mm,
about the Halifax artists, and
mm,
vice versa. It's kind of building that bridge.
Networking,
Yeah,
network.
networking, which is
mm.
important. I tell people all the time that networking is key. You know what I mean? Like
All the time.
it costs a lot to network, and
Mhm.
it's very very useful if you do it the right way. So, any artists out there, if you have the opportunity to go to a music
Mm.
conference, take in some panels at these music conferences, like go do it. You know what I mean? Like
To
it
be
really
honest, that's a part of our mission, to network.
right.
The podcast here, not true, Sean. Isn't
Yeah,
this like one of our mission?
we've been doing it.
Network.
Y'all
Tell
are
me,
doing it
Not
right.
but it's not only networking with ourselves. We got artists to network within
Right.
themselves.
it's
Right. Right.
networking with everybody. It could be artists, it could be a business person, entrepreneur. There's
Yeah.
people with talents of all types of,
I tell you,
places.
I like to tell this story just because it's real.
Mm,
I
Yeah.
remember back in 2000 and early two. I want to say like 2006, 2007, or something like that. There was the beat battle in Toronto, and I went to it just to take it in, kind of just check out the vibes, listen to the producers, and I remember standing in a corner and looking across the room, and I saw Drake, right, and at the time
mm,
he wasn't Drake the way he is now.
Yeah.
yeah.
He was the guy from Degrassi,
Yeah.
right?
Mm,
Yeah.
And so, the stupid mentality of a young me was like, oh,
mm.
there's that cornball, I didn't call him a
Oh yeah,
cornball, but there's
yeah,
that corny guy from Degrassi, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Instead
Don't
of
lie.
right? Instead of taking the opportunity to go and network. You know what I'm saying? And had I done that, things could be slightly different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I make sure to tell that story to everybody. Like, networking is so important. Don't be that guy in the room like me that was like, oh, there's that corn guy. And now that's the biggest fucking rapper in the world.
You know what? We have a Drake story similar like that.
Yeah, kind of similar.
I said it a couple of times on here.
Sean, do you still have the thing?
Okay, the CD, right? Our friends were promoters.
R.I.P. to him, man. R.I.P.
They gave us the CD, and it said, I thought it was Drac, but it was Drake. So my brethren, who rest in peace, said, "Yo, you gotta listen to this guy.
This was like 2001, eh?
Yeah, we got to work with this guy because we used to have our home studio recording people. So then I was like young myself, so I said the same thing like you. Who is this guy? You know, the same thing with energy.
Yeah. Stupid mentality, right?
Stupid mentality. So if I said, "Yo, bring this guy in," this right? Because we have the CD with like 4 songs or 3 songs. It was like backpacker type of rap that time. The same time you met him, it's the same situation. You see how that's a story. That's a lesson.
Yeah, it was
somewhere. I would have to look.
You have to look for that CD, man.
I have to look for that.
Yeah, lessons learned. And you know, if you don't take things like this and learn from them, then you know you're never really going to be able to grow. So you know, and it's good now that I'm in a position where I can give advice to new artists. You know, coming up, is like take those opportunities, say hi, shake a hand. You know what I mean? You never know who that person's going to be. So
exactly. You never know. We never know. It's like right now, like opportunities could come if, like, you know, people connect with you, like for the future. Us too, you know.
Even doing this, you know, it's like it's taking those opportunities. You know, some people might be, I don't want to go do an interview. I don't want to do no, man. Take that, sit down, have that conversation.
I've been telling artists this, especially new artists. I've been saying this: if you get interviews, collect them like hockey cards or whatever cards, because you look important and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's on different platforms. So platforms you don't know or whatnot, they got their network and everything. So you're getting being more known. You get
because I mean? it's like a digital bio, right? So now, for example, someone wants to know Jay Morris, what he does. You're gonna listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube. It's up to you to network. After we do what we can. But if you take that Spotify link, the Apple link, what we just done, you know, down to earth. Yeah. Yo, it helps. Trust me.
And I know this is going off topic from what you're talking about, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you, by the way, for the shirts, and the scarf and like everything that.
How do you do? You've seen everything, right?
Yeah, it was a whole outfit. It was a whole outfit. So,
I was just saying, if anything, please during the tour, get the artist to sign one of the shirts. Them like
I carried it out. Yeah. I got the one that's gonna be signed in my laptop bag.
Yeah, man. And then after that, you know what to do with whatever else, bro.
Yeah.
You know what, man? How important like is it to give like food, like especially it's a food drive, because you're doing a food drive because a lot of people are basically they need it, right?
Well,
and
not only that, it's this time of year.
But not just this time of year. We know like this time of year everybody was
the whole year
feel a certain way.
But not only that, this time of year a lot of people are, you know, presents and everything like that. But a lot of people are not like a lot of people, how should I say, are fortunate.
Yeah, but what I'm saying in the whole, people are hungry all through the year. How important is something like this for, like, you know, people out there?
Yeah, I know. Like every time that we, you know, it comes to the point of connecting with the food banks to say, you know, we're going to do this event and we're going to give back to you. The response from every single food bank is always thank you. Like, we need this right now. You know, I think right now is like probably one of the craziest times for like food insecurity, you know what I mean? Like,
so mind me asking, is there like during the tour here, like, is there like a goal from, you know, from the whole tour, like, you know how like there might be a number like from last year or whatever, we're trying to beat this one kind of thing? Like, is there like a goal number or is it just none?
Yeah, this year it's just the goal is to be able to give back. In
I think our internet connection went. Hold up, give it a second. Internet.
Yeah, it's internet, man. Bless up everybody out there. Some technical difficulties right now.
Oh, man, don't worry.
Got Jay Morris from Bring Your A Game, you know. It's a little
Yeah.
freezing.
Hold up.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna bring him right back through on that spaceship.
Hold up.
Yep, we got you.
Let me see if it add him back.
D2E. People, please donate to the Hip Hop Food Drive.
Yes.
Yep, the Hip Hop Food Drive. Donate. Yep. They're just traveling through Canada right now with some of the greatest artists on this tour. The Hip Hop Food Drive. We're trying to keep
Definitely.
connected.
Everybody got to give back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the time of year. Everyone wants presents and stuff like that. But not everyone is fortunate like that. You know what I'm saying? Straight
Connecting
up.
right back. Connecting right back.
Got him back.
Yeah.
We got him back.
You got you back, man. Like I was saying, like this is very important because there's a lot of families out there and a lot of people on the street who need food right now. Like they're hungry for, like they need something to eat, you know? Like it's really cold in certain places too in Canada right now. So as much as you could give back will be perfect, universe.
Definitely.
I'm talking to
But on the tour here,
I don't know when we cut out, but
it's all right.
Yeah,
I was about.
There's so many artists. I want to answer your question. You can hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear you. Okay. You want to answer the question?
Okay, I think we have a little bit of a delay right now. Yeah. So I think right now, like, what's important for me. Last year we raised just over $3,500, but we did it virtually.
Okay.
And I think what's important this year, being that we're doing it in person, is really just, for me, has been about like the good energy in the building. Like that's my goal. Like every city that we hit, it's packed. People are there to give back, and whatever it is that we raise is great to me. So I didn't want to set a goal this year. Last year we had a goal in place, mainly because it was more about the monetary. And because we did it virtually last year, we didn't actually collect non-perishable food items. So we just did everything virtually. But this year, ideally I would love to get over what we raised last year. But at the end of the day, like the main goal of this has always been about collecting non-perishable food items and bringing them back to the food bank. So if it's not a monetary thing, it's more on the non-perishable, I'm good. But I just want the vibes to be good, and I want to be able to give back whatever it is,
Speaking of the vibes, who do we got on for tonight for the tour?
Yo, this tour right now is like crazy. So as far as Vancouver goes, tonight, of course, like on the tour, headlining the whole tour is Daniel. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And people might, I go by your favorite light skin. He likes to think he is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Shots fired. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, Daniel's going to be headlining, of course. And then there's a brother named Hart from Calgary. He's on tour with us. And, then there's artists like Emotions, Omari Newton, Giovanni, ST Elements, P. Crook, who just met earlier today, JK, Mama Rude Gal, like so many, King Mizzo, like so many dope artists. Nandidi Cascade, of course, it's her birthday party, so we're gonna have a good time jamming out and celebrating. And then I don't know if you like DJ Denise, she's here in the building right now.
URP Radio.
URP Radio, she's DJing tonight. So it's really like the right people within the Vancouver scene are gonna be there, and that same thing is gonna be happening in every city we go to, right? It's like the right people.
Definitely.
So like after Vancouver, what's the next destination?
So tomorrow we have a little relaxed day, because then the rest of the tour is like back to back to back to back.
All right.
But on the 12th we're in Calgary.
All right.
Then the 13th we're in Halifax. The 14th we're in Toronto.
Back
home. The 15th we're in London. 16th we're in Kingston, 17th in Gatineau, and then the 18th in Ottawa.
Yeah, you're doing it good. But hey, this is an example. I feel more artists need to do these type of.
That's P. Crook right there.
Let's
go.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because this is an example. I've seen one other artist do. Not too much artists do this. Like even we need artists to do this more. That's what I'm saying. Like besides your event, like we need to see Canadian music culture start to travel within its own, don't worry about always going to America. What's your opinion on that? Because you say you listen only to Canadian hip hop, so I'm gonna ask you about that.
I think it's important to get out of here. You know what I mean? As much as possible. But that get out of here could also be out of your own city. You know what I'm saying? So I think traveling is obviously the most important thing to do as an artist. If you're trying to, you know, grow your fan base, you gotta travel. You gotta be performing and touring. You know, unless you're just going viral and everybody's just following you online, then, you know, that's a whole different thing. But if you're trying to build it up, you know, and keep it, you know, it's like some people start here and then catapult up here. And some people like slowly build themselves up until they get here and they're not going to fall from there, right? So I think it's one of those things where if you're an artist and you can, you know, if you can get away from family, you can get away from your job, like just go hit the road, you know what I mean? And build that fan base. Obviously have a solid plan in place, but it's not hard to get on the phone and book a venue and then connect with some of the artists in the scene you're going to, and, you know, network, right? And build that bridge or that sort of platform that's just going to happen every time you go city to city. You know what I mean?
So, yo, when you come back home, who's on the lineup for that one? Like, I know you're going to be home and D2E will be in the building probably.
Bless. Toronto Day.
Building, brother. We're prepared. You know, see it.
I love it, man. I love the support. I love the fact that you guys took the time to do this, you know, not only the interview, but also to create the merch that we're going to be able to sell that night too. So thank y'all for that. You know what I mean? That's y'all are helping give back. So Century, you know what I mean? Century, one of the baddest R&B rapper, whatever you want to call it. Century does it all. Century is going to be in the building. Rax, of course, was killing it. I just had Rax at Cranium Festival in Ottawa recently. She put on a killer set. Billy the Kid, you know what I mean? Shout out to Billy the Kid. King Mello, Mike Guts, Victory, Maloney, of course, of course, Daniel is headlining, and then there's some R&B artists like I believe Pharaoh B. There's a new artist, it's not R&B, kind of more like the trap vibe, Sarah, and then Hart from Calgary.
That's good.
So it's a big vibe, yeah. And then, you know, special guests always pop through, so there's always, you know, somebody coming to touch the stage. DJ Slam.
Well, D2 will be in the
Building to do the off stage interviews. You done know, brother.
Yes, let's get it.
We are prepared for it.
Let's get it. Yo, if you, I don't know, like, how y'all feeling, but if you can make the London date, come through to London too. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not that too far from Toronto. So
I'll see if I can try.
Put out there.
I'll see if I can try still, because we have family out there too with Casper Marcus. That's
right. He's on the London. Yeah. Shout out to Casper, man. That's the
whole man. We're gonna keep promoting and pushing, man, all through this tour, man.
Done. We still gonna be pushing the promo. Pushing the promo. Done, man. This is a marathon, brother.
But yo, tell the people where they could donate to, like the links, the info.
Let them know, man. Tell them.
Best place to go is hiphopfooddrive.com. You can donate secured on the website by credit card or PayPal, or you can e-transfer directly to hiphopfooddrive@gmail.com, or just come out to, you know, either one of the dates if it's in your city, and you know, donate non-perishable food items to get in, or donate at the door. So many ways to do it, man.
Okay.
So yo, I gotta ask you, man, what's your top 6 MCs of all time? Because you're hip hop, you're part of the culture. Everybody loves hip hop.
Yeah, you're gonna put me in a
that's a hard one.
So no particular order.
No.
Method Man.
All right.
Strong.
Mos Def.
All right. Yep.
Obviously Biggie and Tupac.
Z.
Lauryn Hill. That's 5, no?
You'll get one more. You get
one more in there. Me.
Like
just because, you know? Just because you gotta believe in yourself, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good one. No one ever done that before.
Damn straight. But
I tell you, like, those artists that I mentioned right there, and I could name more, like Styles P, you know what I mean, is one of those artists for me too. DMX, I told you, you know, I mentioned.
Speaking of music, man, what's the last recording of music you ever did?
For my personal stuff?
Yeah.
I haven't pushed it right now because I'm doing this whole hip hop food drive stuff. But as soon as the food drive stuff is done, then I'm gonna take a little break just so I need it, and then I'm going in hard on the music stuff again. But actually, for anybody that is interested in before that push, It is out already. I just haven't started pushing it yet. But you can go to my website, jmorrisnow.com. All my discography is up there. And I have a project which is called On the Spot that I actually wrote and recorded during COVID, and it was produced by Quest from Gatineau. And basically what I did with him is we connected, we did 10 lives, and on each live he made the beat live and I wrote the song live. And so by the end of each live we had a song. So we did 10 of those, and we called the album On the Spot. And it was literally just done, on the spot. So that album is out on my website as well.
I gotta check that out. That's something different, man.
Yeah. And Jay Moore, I still use Bandcamp. A lot of people hate Bandcamp. I love it. I love it still because you get more money off that when people buy from there. Jay Morris, exactly. jmorris.bandcamp.com has literally all my stuff from when I used to go by Dynamic, because I have a long catalog.
Long, man. Yo, how important is it for other platforms like us to do promote something like what you're putting on? I just want you to no,
and it literally means the world to me to see y'all take the time and the energy to push what we're doing and to want to come out and be involved in it too. You know what I mean? So I think it's hugely important, because on my side, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing, to have other people jumping in to help push this. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It obviously means that the cause is the right cause. So I think it's important for more people like y'all to do that. But at the same time, I want to say thank y'all once again, and I'll keep saying it, you know what I mean, for taking that time and energy to do it, because not everybody's doing it. We got love, we got love from Global and CBC.
I've seen that. I've been watching. Definitely.
Yes. And so, certain media outlets are taking it and helping push it. But I'll say that sometimes it's not the same realness behind it.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you're saying.
Do you feel?
That's why we're down to earth. You know what I'm saying? We get down to earth.
100%.
That's why I was gonna go into those waters just before we come off the spaceship. Our own scene. Do you feel our own scene needs to start to show more support? Because I don't see it as much.
I think so. Here's one thing for me, and I feel like this is how it is regardless of the city or scene that you're in. But in Ottawa, for me, growing up, there wasn't really much of an infrastructure, right? And that's what I'm really about building, is that infrastructure. So in Ottawa, we just had our Cranium Awards, which is called the Recognize Awards. It's our first year of doing it. It was our inaugural awards, Hip Hop and R&B Award in our city, and we did it inside the Shenkman Arts Center, which is established location in our city, in Orleans of all of that, where all the rich people at, and for us that's huge, because we never had that in our city. The festival, the food drives. I say all of that, the radio show, I say all of that to say that it's important for more people to do it, not just one or two. You know what I mean? I would love in Ottawa now at this point for there to be 3 or 4 hip hop award shows. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only going to build up the scene to a bigger place. But right now we're the only ones doing a hip hop award show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. Toronto's not even doing one. Toronto, as old as it's supposed to be, don't have a hip hop award show.
So I think it's important to have more of people like you, more bringing A games, more we love hip hops. You know what I mean? We just
more down to earth.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, man.
I'm definitely ready for you guys. You see my setup right here? This is my mobile setup.
Let's go. I love the mic too, bro. I need one of them now. That's blessed, man. I appreciate y'all.
Man. So, but much respect for coming down to earth with us, brother. We're gonna keep supporting. Bring your A game. I want people to donate. Look on his page in the bio, the link. Give whatever you could give.
Hit up on the cause. IG everywhere. You done know, man. But before we go, I always say,
Morris,
man, this is the Rastafari Samurai, never leaving you dry in your eye. I approve this message nationwide. You done know, people.
And bless up Jay Morris. I want people to follow his page and support the Hip Hop Food Drive. It's your host, Sean Myrie, D2E. Bless up.
Signing out.